soon.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, the end of the year is kind of the goal. Lexi and Cody surprised them with a trip to Disneyland.
That's cool.
So Kylie was in on it. Joel was not. I can't wait to hear the stories, but effectively, Joel was going to be lied to the whole time. And like, we were just going to tell him they're going to a concert or something. And see how long they could be driving to LA before he catches on.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
See, the funny thing is, like, with me, like, that would be a horrible thing to do because I would much rather go to a concert than to Disneyland.
Yeah, I think for Joel it's the other way around. He's been a Star Wars fan since he was a child, and has never been to Disneyland like in years at least. I don't know if he ever went as a kid, but he certainly hasn't been to Star Wars Land.
Yeah, that's cool.
He and Cody are gonna do like stand in line, get there early, all the crazy fan stuff, and then Kylie and Lexi are just gonna have a lazy day walking and talking
That's
in
cool.
Disneyland.
They just raise their prices again, huh?
Yeah, they always do. Although they did have a special deal going for anyone in California. And maybe that's why they chose now to go. Because they know that right now, somewhere around 70% of park attendance is going to Star Wars Land.
Yeah.
They've closed for renovations all across the park. There's a ride in every land that's closed, and in most lands there's two. So if you don't go to Star Wars Land, you'll be met with very much disappointment.
Yeah.
So they've extended discounts to all the Californians, and it's a good discount, but you get like a third off. So it's not bad.
Are we gonna not have any voice this service?
That would be a first for first.
That would be like mind blowing.
I don't know where Michael would be. He's like always here.
Yeah, there's like hardly anyone who shows up after 9. Like.
Oh, for first service?
Yeah.
That's an interesting little difference between first and second, isn't it?
Yeah. It's funny. Haley and Caitlin I don't think they'd ever played air hockey before, and I had them up here before I checked them in. And they were bored, and I was like, you guys can play air hockey if you want. And Haley's like, air hockey? I'm like, yeah, and I was showing her how it works. And I'm like, I'm showing her, and she's like, okay. And she's really hesitant to do it. And she's like, what is this? This is stupid. And then, like, 10 minutes later, they're both giggling and having a ton of fun. It was funny.
It is a very strange concept that you would build a special table for a game. But for some reason us humans keep doing it. Were you hoping to play a game, or did you set the comfiness of the couch? That's understandable.
Did you say you have muffins left over?
Mm-hmm.
What kind?
I think everything but chocolate. There is chocolate chip, however. Oh, you know, no clear either. So it's chocolate chip and poppy seed.
Okay.
I think that's because Emily came.
What?
I think that's because Emily came in the morning to help me clean up. I think she took all the blueberry. It is one of her, like, greatest enjoyments in life is a blueberry muffin. And she went for the whole pregnancy without eating one. And so now it's like every blueberry muffin that comes within 10 yards, she just...
Yeah, I love blueberry muffins, but most other muffins I'm not really a fan of.
I'm sorry.
I can eat, I like chocolate muffins, but I can't eat a whole one for sure. I can only eat like a couple little pieces. One person.
Okay.
We were rather surprised that
Are
Michael
you
wasn't
losing
here.
your voice?
Lost.
Oh.
Losing is a current tense.
I forgot Nerf 9. I was
Yeah.
gonna bring that.
How?
I don't
How
know.
did you forget? We
had-
talked about it constantly.
I had the huge phantom thing.
I was really, really looking forward to it.
You know the battery's like this big.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
It's fine. I'll bring it next Sunday and shoot everyone. Sorry guys, I missed Nerf 9. Okay, line up.
Gotta get yours.
I have the guitar plugged in with the purple. That's right?
That's perfectly fine. I'm missing my tablet because we used it for sign in, and now I don't know where I stuck it.
It's probably in one of the cupboards somewhere, right? Maybe.
I don't know. I'm bad at this.
You did?
I'm not on purpose. I was using my laptop bag to carry it. That was a mistake.
Was this donated?
No, I bought that.
You did?
It's one of my favorite multiplayer games of all time.
Really?
Yeah, the one player is pretty sad, but the multiplayer is pretty good. It's, did you ever play any of the WWF games?
No.
No? Okay. So the thing about the WWF, WWE games is not that I like WWF or WWE. Okay? It's that you have really slow characters that can do really ridiculous fighting moves on people. Just like pick them up and twirl them around. It's fun to watch someone do something that's completely ridiculous. No one would fight that way in real life. No one would do those things. And that is effectively that, but with monsters. So like, you get to fight people with fire breath. There's not a lot of games that actually have that. And then on top of that, you're incredibly slow. It's a fighting game where you can't quite get to your opponent. And if he really wanted to, he could just turn and walk away from you. And like, you would never catch him. And that's weird, and it's entertaining, because it's a completely different experience. Most fighting games are so fast, everything's like blink of an eye. Yeah, it's all about speed. But Godzilla Destroy All Monsters is super slow.
Tony Hawk's Pro Skate 3 for PS.
Oh, let's go.
This is the favorite game you have.
That's a pretty good one, but that's mostly just your favorite because you can destroy everyone.
I have this game. This is my favorite game.
Yeah,
And I used
because you can destroy
I
everyone.
used to be this is good with my brother, but I kept playing, and I would like get a 12 to 0, and then just stop playing. And I still love this game, but I can't
Because you're the
play
guy
it.
with the 12.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This game needs more credit. started randomly playing this game and we didn't know the controls. And for like a straight 2 years, we were playing, and then like half of the things in the games that you could do, we didn't even know about. We didn't know headbutting or like air passing. We
Which
had
game?
Super Smash. No, not Super Smash.
Strikers?
Super Strikers, yeah.
Oh.
We had no
You
idea.
didn't even know the controls.
Yeah, all we knew was slide tackle, shoot the ball, and change the character. And we just kept playing. And then we discovered headbutting, power-ups, and all that stuff. And it just completely changed it.
Yeah, it would, because that's all the controls.
These were like super old Lego Star Wars games.
Yes. Why are you amazed that our games are old? All of our games are old.
Well, the GameCube, so obviously. It's just, we've only ever really played and got into Super Smash at this place, and there's so much more.
There's so much
right?
to do.
What was that one? It was a Star Wars one, and you could like be a tank.
Clone Wars. We played it to death last night.
Yeah.
Or not last night, the night before. But yeah, we played it so much. It was hilarious. They got good enough to where they could actually beat me when they were 2-on-1. It took them a while though. Like they weren't good enough to beat me 2-on-1. In that game when you're playing Conquest, you're getting bases. If you have two people, you legitimately do anything I can do twice as fast.
Yeah.
So like you should be able to lose. Like they did for a while. It's very fun. Yeah, pretty much. Did you sit up all night? Oh, I think you like sit up all night. You would have noticed us playing. So right before Andrew left, we played Star Wars Clone Wars for a while. And like right before he left, it was me and one kid versus him and one kid. And like he couldn't win. He was like getting so frustrated. And then like we switched kids because he thought it was because I had a better kid than him. So I gave him Jonathan because Jonathan had learned my strategy. He was doing well. And I gave him Jonathan and I took who did I get? Was it Jediah? I think I got Jediah. And I still beat him. He was so mad. So then they did a round with 3-on-1 and like they won.
It's
I was like,
more
well,
fun.
yeah, duh.
It's more fun to just kill them than to actually like go and get bases.
Well, see, that was the funny thing. Right at the end, before he learned how to win, I had him beat, so that I had every base except the 2 by his headquarters.
Yeah.
So it was 8 bases to 2 bases. And so then I had like, no, it couldn't have been that many. So it was like 6 bases to 2 bases. So I had 12 guys, and I kept sniping out his towers so his bases wouldn't produce. So I've got 12 guys coming at him, and you know my kid, my human,
Yeah.
and me, and he has like his kid, no AI, and himself. But he figured out with the good guy's walker, it has a weird like, it's not a glitch, it's like a feature. It has 3 bombs it can shoot, and it can't reload those. Like the ammo packs don't work on the walker. But if you land a hit, it gives you it back. So you only really lose your 3 shots if you miss. So what he figured out was aim. He got really good at aiming. And so he would just like stand there. There's 12 AI units, but he can one-shot them because he has the bomb. So he's like standing there just like, and then me or my kid would come in, like Jediah or Jonathan, whoever had that round, and he would have to actually like try hard and kill us because we would dodge and we would get health pickups but like he couldn't kill us in 1 shot. And then it would be back to AI and just and there's 12 guys just constantly flooding into his base, but it didn't matter. He held on. And so that round took like 30 minutes to overcome him, and I had to basically go in, snipe his towers, get one of the 2 bases that was at his headquarters. And then when I started capturing that and putting up towers so that there was constantly something shooting him, then he finally died. But like 12 guys, no, he was fine. He could handle 12 guys. That wasn't too bad.
I remember playing that, and like my 2 favorite one was that huge bad guy tank. the one that does a lot of damage, but it takes
Yeah,
about
like
Scary when you're
the droid
just
tank.
a little.
yeah, and then the other one where it does not a lot of damage, but you're just like super fast.
Do you mean the one with the big giant wheels or the hover tank?
The hover tank.
Yeah, okay. Then I'll let you play it in Conquest, but there is the droid, what do they call it? It's like two big hoops are the wheels, two big hula hoops, and it's got like rocket packs in the middle.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Mhm.
Okay, they let you play that, but only in like versus mode, like just
Mhm.
duel. And it's really funny as a vehicle because it can't turn very fast. It can't strafe at all. It can't go left and right. And like its laser gun is super weak. But what it has going for it is really weird, and so like it's only good sometimes. You have a crazy ton of missiles, just like a bajillion missiles, and in a straight line, it can outrun every vehicle. When you just get going in a straight line, it's kind of hard to shoot. Like it's ridiculously fast. But then once you stop, you have to turn like.
Can you
Really slow.
go in like a super big circle while going?
Kind of, not very effectively.
Yeah.
So I have there was a game and it's the same like these. It's a Lego Star Wars game.
Okay.
But it's the I think it's like the third newest one. You can only get it on Wii. And it's really cool because not only can you play the story mode, but there's versus mode and you play with your opponent. And kind of like what you were saying, you conquer bases and then you build on those bases,
Nice.
all those things. And I think I know what you're talking about that thing that has a bunch of missiles.
Mm.
Well, in our game, that's the second last thing you ever get, which is super hard to get, and it is overpowered. You just see this huge red laser go over your base, and then your base is gone.
That might be the four-legged walker.
No, it's the is
They
it?
put
It's,
the laser on that?
yeah, it's brown, and it's
Well,
just
they're like
it's
all
just
brown.
huge. And the funniest part is that it's super slow, but if you run over anything, it instantly dies. So if your opponent comes and you run him over, he just instantly dies.
Okay, come here for a sec.
I've never had the muffins before that are chocolate chip,
Right?
but
That's kind of new, huh?
but not like chocolate.
The very last level, it took my brother forever took him and I forever to figure out how to beat the big monster thing. It's like
Here we go. They're not gonna count them as vehicles. Okay. So this is what I think you're talking about.
no.
Because it actually has a big beam laser that's crazy overpowered. And then
Well, in
this is what I am talking about. The Hailfire.
Oh my god!
Oh.
I forgot about that thing. In the game, that thing is so fun because it's really fast and has a bunch of missiles.
Yeah.
And
They claim it in this like wikia. It's a highly maneuverable droid tank. But like, they didn't carry that over into the game properly.
well, in our game, it was really fast and it did a lot of damage.
Okay.
What I was talking about, scroll up. It was keep scrolling that.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, that should be the last thing you unlock. There's a troop transport. Carrying just like a bajillion droids inside.
Yeah.
What's the hover tank? Hover tank's so cool.
Was its other ability. The funny part is that if your opponent ever
Hey, Elise,
destroyed
what's
it,
your song list?
What?
What's your song list?
Oh,
it was extremely hard to destroy, but once they actually destroyed it, it put out a bunch of troops, and
Nice.
the troops just like destroyed them.
Where you can run.
The
people.
very last thing you got in the game
so
was a thing,
yeah,
and it just gave you infinite money.
That's ridiculous. That would be an unlock.
conversations.
But it wasn't just like boom, you have infinite money. It would just spin in circles and just keep dropping money. So you would just have to like spin around it a few times, and then you would have over what you needed to buy everything in the game. And it was overpowered. was so funny because you can put force fields around your base in this game, and the funny thing
You gotta
is,
find me the name of this game because I love base games. I love where you're building up stuff.
this game is really funny because they have a huge shield, missiles and lasers cannot go through it, and if your opponent tries to drive a vehicle through it, they immediately get off the vehicle. But the opponent can literally just walk into your force field and shut it off. And that's just dumb.
Why do they need to shut it off if they can walk into it?
Because, I mean, it's going to be hard trying to destroy an entire base with just a lightsaber. You probably want some missiles or lasers. Okay, and when you have a base, there's 3 squares you can be on. And those 3 squares are where you can build. You can build a, you would really like this game. You can buy a giant missile, a giant laser gun, and it would just keep shooting at your opponent's base, even when you're not on it. And you can control it too. What else? You can, oh yeah, you can put down this thing, and it just keeps putting out troops. But the best part is that you can unlock troops, and when you unlock troops, there's so much more potential. Like, there's minigunners, there's missile shooters, there's lasers, and it's just really cool.
Is it called Star Wars 3: The Clone Wars?
Yes, that's it.
This one looks like a little bit different than the rest.
That is the last level in the game. You have to beat that thing.
Giant tower?
No,
Oh, this.
that thing. I always thought that was like General Grievous' dad or something. Yep, that's it.
Is this the thing with the crazy laser?
Yeah.
It's exactly what I showed you a picture of.
I know.
What? It's exactly what I showed you a picture of.
Oh god, those things are good too.
These 2-legged walkers.
Yeah. Oh, this brings back so many memories. Oh wait, I saw the runny generator thing. And that thing.
Oh, okay. So does it have verses or just co-op?
Both.
I'm gonna have to look that up.
Do you have Wii?
We have a Wii here.
You do?
Did you never notice the Wii sitting over there?
I mean,
It's got Brawl in it
honestly,
at
I
all
never
times.
played it before. Not before. I've never really played it anymore. So I guess I could bring it and show you sometime. It's really fun. I've beaten the game a couple times.
So why did you come to Nerf Night?
I forgot. And you know what's the coolest thing?
That you didn't come to Nerf Night?
No.
You're right, it's not.
So.
Are you ready to start, Elise?
Yeah, whenever.
Okay, cool. We should get
So
going.
there's this lobby, and in that lobby you can choose to do voices or story mode. But the cool thing is, the lobby is like an entire space base, the entire good guy space base, and
That's
you
really cool.
and you can unlock things with money. And once you get far enough in the game, you can unlock like different places to be, and there's some point where you can buy different ships and actually go out in space and like go and visit the bad person base and then unlock those
From the
guys.
main lobby?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
From
that's
the
weird.
main lobby, the main lobby is like 5 levels in one thing. The lobby's the best. And that's how you unlock new characters, is by going to different bases and you just literally tap on them. Except for it's kind of hard to buy people if they're trying to kill you, because if you go to the
Why are you buying people?
if you go to the bad base,
Why
you're a
would you
good
buy
person.
people?
Why are
Don't
you
buy
buying people,
people.
Seth?
Well, that's
That's
what
called
you
slavery
do.
and that's frowned upon in those schools.
You buy them and then they just disappear, and
Oh my
then
gosh.
and then you can become
Alright,
them.
maybe I'm not getting this game anymore.
And then you can become them.
What? This sounds like the plotline for a villain.
You buy them so you can become.
I think that's called identity theft. Alright guys, find a seat in the circle of chairs or the 2 90-degree offset rows of chairs.
Is sound working? Yeah.
No, it's not.
No?
No.
I can hear myself.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Don't listen to Seth.
I wasn't. I didn't know. I can't tell with the guitar if it's coming through or not. Cool. Yeah, we have everyone. Okay. There was only 3 of us, right? 3
Yeah.
of them. I felt like there were 4 for some reason. Oh, Weston.
I don't think so.
Weston.
Well, Weston will come back later.
Yeah. Okay.
Dear Lord, thank you for this morning, for this time that we have to worship you and dig into your word. And I just pray that you would open our hearts up to you and just help us to really meditate on the words in these songs and think about them thoroughly as we sing them to you, Lord. I pray this in your name. Amen. The splendor of a king, clothed in majesty, let all the earth rejoice, all the earth rejoice. He wraps himself in light, and darkness tries to hide, and trembles at his voice. It trembles at his voice. How great is our God? Sing with me, how great is our God, and all will see how great is our God. Age to age he stands, and time is in his hands, beginning and the end, beginning and the end. The Godhead 3 in 1, Father, Spirit, Son, the Lion and the Lamb, the Lion and the Lamb. How great is our God? Sing with me, how great is our God, and all will see how great is our God. Name above all names, you are worthy of all praise, and my heart will sing how great is our God. Yeah, name above all names, you are worthy of all praise, and my heart will sing how great is our Jesus, you're all this heart is living for. Hungry, I come to you, for I know you satisfy. Song to him who sits on heaven's mercy seat. Holy, holy, holy is the Lord God Almighty, who was and is to come. With all creation I sing praise to the King of Kings. You are my everything, and I will adore you. Clothed in rainbows of living color, flashes of light, rolls of thunder, blessing and honor, strength and glory and power be to you, the only wise King. Oh, and holy, holy, holy is the Lord God Almighty, who was and is to come. With all creation I sing praise to the King of Kings. You are my everything, and I will adore you. I will adore you. Filled with wonder, eyes struck wonder at the mention of your name. Jesus, your name is power, breath and living water, such a marvelous mystery. Oh, and holy, holy, holy is the Lord God Almighty, who was and is to come. With all creation I sing praise to the King of Kings. You are my everything, and I will adore you. I will adore you. Lord, thank you again for this morning, and just help us to be able to focus on the teaching. Please speak through Daniel and just open our eyes to what you have for us today. And for this morning. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Lise. Alright guys, if you don't have a Bible with you, time to go get one off the shelf.
Wait, Seth, were you at Nerf night?
No.
All the boys here except for Seth were at Nerf night.
Yeah. And Seth's excuse is pretty bad.
Yeah.
I forgot.
How can you forget something that?
amazing.
Well, I found 2 more Nerf darts.
Yep.
Or the
And,
rival rounds.
Keep in mind, you guys are the ones who clean upstairs.
Yeah, it's kind of like a grip.
Hey, I'm gonna put these in your box.
This
Keep
one
in mind,
over
I
there.
was an
Hey Daniel, I already put 5 Nerf darts in your box this morning.
From
I had
downstairs?
like 8 downstairs.
There's another Nerf dart over there. I swear, we need
Alright
to
guys,
just take
today we are
everything out
not
of the room.
talking about
and see how
topics,
late
but
we
it is
can
an
go.
announcement I want to announce.
Or we can just
We've
look.
got the new flyer out today. So this was the old one, the new one is over there on the kitchen counter. The new one has all the topics listed on it, so you can know which night is which.
Wait, why do we need a flyer if you just sent out an email?
Last night?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, not last night, it was 2 nights ago.
Well, 2 nights ago. That's what I meant.
That's
It all kind of blurs together when you don't sleep at night.
yeah.
I'm still wearing sunglasses. That's how blurry I am. Okay. But topic nights are coming up. It's every Friday night in March. The new flyer lists for you the food we're having each night, the topics we're covering each night, and the idea is not that you would just know, hence, an email, but so you could invite friends. So you could tell people, like, look down the list of topics. If you know someone who's, like, struggling in a certain area or questioning about certain things, they should get invited. They should come to that topic night so they can ask their questions and they can get answers. So, grab the flyer, think of a few people, invite them along. Plus, there's yummy food, and then you get something to have to look forward to. I'm so sorry about that cough. I was there just a few days ago. All right.
No, you weren't.
And
I was with that cough.
A few days.
Me and that cough were very close.
I never heard you cough.
Daniel.
You weren't with me. I was at home sick.
Yeah, right before
Daniel
Nerf
lost
You
his
said a
voice
few
past
nights
tense.
ago. Nerf night.
That's literally 2.
Yeah, that's a few.
No.
No,
A few starts at 3. You can't have a few be 2.
Well, then why would you be sick the
That would be
night
a couple.
before?
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
it married
Two is a
couple
couple.
If you,
Yeah.
Like a few.
Anyways, the first night will be Dino Nuggets. We'll be covering those 4 topics. The second night will be Pizza and Donuts. We'll be covering those 4 topics. Third night will be Taco Bar. We'll be covering those 4 topics. And the fourth night will be Mac and Cheese plus toppings.
Bacon.
We'll be covering those 4 topics.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
bacon.
probably bacon. I mean, mac and cheese without bacon as a topping.
I'll go to
Or-
the dinosaurs.
or-
It's kinda sad.
I've
Two
never had
chives.
bacon.
You've never had mac and cheese bacon?
Or
Well, you got-
mac
no,
and
It's
cheese.
gonna be
mac and
choice.
mac and cheese and pineapple
The
sausage.
dino nuggets.
I
Pineapple
might have actually had that once just because of how much I like pineapple sausage from Costco.
Yeah,
It is really good.
yeah.
It is.
It is really
You
good.
should get
But I
pineapple
don't
sausage.
know. Emily might remember if we've ever tried it. But we haven't got the pineapple sausage in probably a year.
I'll go to the
don't
pizza
know why.
and donut
Yeah.
You
one.
should put chives on the mac and cheese.
Really? You like chives? Chives to me are like a visual treat.
Yeah.
I've never put chives on anything in my life and gone, I'm really glad I put chives on this.
Really?
It
I
tastes
love
so much better now. It's never happened. I've never ordered anything from a restaurant that came with chives on it. I was like, oh, you put chives on it. Thank you. It's never happened.
I know.
But you see the chives, you go, my food is pretty.
Right?
Yeah, flick them off to the side and then eat the food.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
That's funny.
Okay, anyways, that's our topic nights. Today, though, we are covering Genesis 27.
Wait, I have a question.
Yes.
Are you actually gonna ban Andrew's rifle?
We might need to.
Do
Like,
it.
if I get a bruise on my arm, I think that's cool. I think that's
Oh,
awesome.
I have
'Cause you
a
can have a Nerf
scar.
gun that bruises your arm. But when it makes someone's nose bleed,
Wait, it made
Yeah.
someone's
then
nose bleed?
suddenly
Yeah,
I'm
he
like,
shot Jeremiah
yeah, I don't know
and
about that.
made blood
Now,
run
granted,
down.
Jeremiah's nose has been broken before, but it's been like a year.
Yeah.
So, it
Should've-
should not be like, this easy to make his nose bleed.
It's been more
And
than
clearly
a
the
year.
gun does not hit that hard.
Oh.
I was
It hits harder.
I was where those trash can ones in the corner. He was over here in that corner and he shot me and it hurt.
With
So
Andrew's
that-
gun?
Yeah, with Andrew's
When was
gun.
this?
That was last Nerf night.
Oh, okay, because that's like
Last-
exactly the distance and spacing from when Andrew shot me. Andrew was literally right there, and I was in the kitchen.
Yeah.
He got me in the arm, and I
It-
still have a bruise right there.
Yeah.
There it is, right there.
He
Yep, that was off.
sniped me in like the elbow.
Yes, he
in my
definitely
funny
sniped.
bone.
I
He
got
was,
to.
he was great. He would play on every team when we would do like 4 guys defend this room,
Yeah.
and then he would sit in the corner, and essentially people would come in the door, see him line up his sights on them, and then they would leave. They wouldn't keep coming. They'd like try again later when he wasn't
This is
looking.
our 14 right here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is
This
our
was the
14.
team?
Yeah,
Yes,
this
it
was
was
the
the
team.
team that win.
What was your name again?
Savage Hot
Savage
Dogs.
Hot Dogs.
Savage Hot Dogs.
I ran through those doors and I was like, that's it, I'm gonna go get Andrew. And then I see Andrew put his gun at me and I run to the trash cans and cuddle up and he shot me.
He shot you. You stopped moving. Of course he shot you.
Oh.
Anyways,
Sean, you're good with it.
If I
we're having a
ran,
girls' Nerf night actually, in May. So it's a little ways out.
He-
Can start playing.
Andrew played
Daniel.
airsoft. Airsoft works. If they still run, still shoot them.
Yes.
I hung a piece of paper. Andrew let me shoot his gun, and it shot a perfect hole straight through the piece of paper.
You should be scared. You should be very scared.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Landon is pretty big. Like he's a bigger junior high guy, and so Landon got Andrew's gun at one point. Andrew let him hold it, and so Landon tried to cock the gun, and Andrew's gun is unique in that like when you cock it,
It doesn't go all the way
50% back, 75% back, or whatever, you can still slide it forward even if you haven't got
Yeah,
all the way back, but it won't fire.
yeah.
So if you don't go 100% back, it won't fire. And so Landon like gets it all the way back. He thinks he puts it forward. And like, it won't work. I'm like, no, it's not back all the way. It's not back all the way. Like he kept trying. He could not cock the gun back
I
because
could.
the spring that Andrew put in there, I think, is like a 25-pound spring.
I could easily.
So like you have to be able to lift 25 pounds this way, if that makes sense. Like that's the weight it takes to
With
cock the
one
gun.
arm.
Because you have to compress 25 pounds.
That's why it takes
Yeah,
him
there you
so
go.
long
Put your
to
foot on it.
fire it.
My fingers
The
are very
sound
strong.
too. There was one point where I went to get a dart and I bent down, and he fired it over where I was, like
Oh,
to
did it,
get a
like-
kid. He fired it over my hunched body, and I heard the sound of like the spring releasing. It's a scary sound. It's like the sound of an iron bar dropping onto a pile of iron bars.
Yeah, and I love the sound of it shooting.
Yeah. Oh, that dart coming out.
sound of death.
It is. It is the sound of death. Do
And
not
the
get your
laser sound of
eyeballs
you're about to
anywhere
die.
near
The
that.
laser
And
is
he'll, like-
scary when you look down and you see a laser on your chest.
Yes, he has the
Or
laser boy.
he'll
that really
shine
hot.
it like
Laser.
across your head so you'll see it and then you just spray it away.
Okay, everyone.
Yeah,
Because of Andrew, we
Daniel.
have to wear 2 safety glasses.
At one point in the night, someone took their glasses off and got shot in the eye. And like, it
For, like, 2
happens
seconds.
eventually. Someone does it. But like, do you see now why I make you wear safety glasses? This is not a "are you crying" sort of problem. Like,
Yeah, this
you know,
is-
wear your glasses or else you'll cry. It's like
Sounds like
you
weird
could lose your vision.
Yeah, it
You
sounds
could
like
stop
with his
seeing.
gun, like,
Poke
on
your
you.
eye out.
You should not be taking your glasses
You
off.
I'd
need
rather-
safety glasses.
With airsoft, I'd rather be hit in the mask than my body because it doesn't hurt. I
Okay,
can't
guys.
feel it.
We gotta get going.
Wait,
We're
Daniel.
short on time.
I have one
We got
really
a big,
good story.
fat, awesome chapter to cover. I'm tired.
We should
So
move the
tired.
pool table so
I have a
Andrew can-
newborn right now who sleeps in our bed. She does not like to sleep. And then our 3-year-old is starting to have nightmares, which is really sad, but it also means she comes and wakes up the family every now and then.
Daniel,
Anyways.
I got one story.
No stories. We're
It's
done.
like a 20
This
second
story.
story.
This is the story.
But it's a really good one
This
about
is the
Nerf night.
this is the
We're
good
reading
one.
a story.
This is the good one.
This is the good story. All right, Seth, start us out. You got chapter 27, verse 1.
I'm not there. Okay. One day when Isaac was old and turning blind, he called for Esau, his older son, and said, "My son." "Yes, father," Esau replied.
2 through 4. We're just going by paragraph, if that wasn't clear.
I am an old man now, Isaac said, and I don't know when I may die. Take your bow and a quiver full of arrows, and go out into the open country and hunt some wild game for me. Prepare my favorite dish, and bring it here for me to eat. Then I will pronounce the blessing that belongs to you, my firstborn son, before I die.
But Rebecca overheard what Isaac had said to his son Uzziah. That means
Esau.
Esau.
Oops.
You
I know, it's a weird spelling.
Esau left to hunt for the wild game. She said to her son Jacob, "Listen, I overheard your father say to Esau, 'Bring me some wild game and prepare me a delicious meal. Then I will bless you in the Lord's presence before I die. Now, my son, listen to me. Do exactly as I tell you. Go out to the flocks and bring me 2 fine young goats. I'll use them to prepare your father's favorite dish. Then the food Then take the food to your father so he can eat and bless you before he dies.
Okay, pause. Jacob is the younger of two twins. Esau is the older of two twins. And in their culture, you got a lot of benefits for just being the firstborn boy. Being the oldest boy in the family gave you a ton of benefits. Now, in this family, so far, as we know, there's like no other siblings at all. And so it's a really weird situation. So like if you had 6 kids, let's say, and that was pretty common back then, a lot of people had even more than 6 kids. The first kid is going to get 2/7 of everything when you die. If that makes any sense. And then every remaining kid gets 1/7. Does that make sense? So you get double what each person gets. But if there's a bunch of kids, you're still only getting like 2/7, right? In terms of the total fraction. That's not that much, right? This isn't that much. Now, when there's only 2 of you and you get double, that means you get 2/3. So suddenly, that's a big difference.
Yeah.
Jacob only gets 1/3. That's a bigger deal. So maybe they'll have more kids in the future. Maybe this will change. But that's not what Isaac's thinking. Isaac's thinking, I'm dead. I'm so old. I'm already dead. So I better hurry up and do this whole blessing thing, do the whole handoff, get it all done, because I could die at any moment. So he's not just going to do the inheritance, the money thing. He's going to also give a blessing. Like, you're going to be the best there ever was. You're going to be better than your brothers. You're going to be, and he's just going to lay it out before God and ask God to actually lift up Esau and make Esau the best. Yeah.
But doesn't he?
No, he means to lift up Esau. Sorry.
God, he thinks of everyone as equal. So.
Oh,
why,
sure.
So why is that?
He's not God. He's a human.
Well, I know, but how would God bless that? Is that?
Oh, I
against what
gotcha.
he
I gotcha.
thinks?
Yeah. So this is another little interesting relationship between God and humans. You can pray for stuff that isn't perfect. End of sentence. I don't really have any more to add to that. But like, God will do what he'll do. And it's going to either work in his plan or it's not. And he's not going to go out of his way and break his plan to answer your request. But he's going to listen to your prayer. And so you can ask for stuff that doesn't seem perfect. And you can ask, and this is the weirdest one, we do this all the time. You can ask for perfect stuff in a really not perfect way. Like, heal my grandma, I don't want her to die. And God's like, well, it's her time to die. You're like, I don't want her to die. So your reason isn't really a good reason. It's, I want. That's your reason. But God may be like, you know what? I got some other stuff I can do. You know, I can use her like this, and you know, her life, it should go on. So yeah, I'll make her not die. And like, your reason was not a great reason. It was just greed. You just wanted your grandma. But like, what you asked for was good. So there's lots of times where you ask God for stuff, and you ask in a selfish way, or in a prideful way, or in a dumb way. Like, you just didn't think it through. You're just not being thoughtful and thinking about everything going on. But that doesn't matter every time. A lot of times God hears your prayer and goes, yeah, actually that's a great thing. Maybe you should work on your reasons. Maybe you should work on your heart, your motivation. But like, I'll say yes to that because I know what's going on here. And interestingly, God is working in this whole situation. He's not going to answer it for reasons that are Isaac's reasons. He's not going to answer it for reasons that are Rebecca's reasons. And ironically, Isaac's also not going to die because God has things for him to do. So Isaac's old and he thinks he's dying, and God's like, you're not dying. But Isaac doesn't know that. So there's whole huge gaps between what God's doing and what we're asking for. But every now and then, what we're asking for and what God's going to do, they totally overlap. So that said, the reason we are meant to pray, the reason God wants us to pray, is not to tell him what we need. He knows what you need. He's perfect. He knows all things. The reason he wants you to pray is because he wants you to get closer to what he wants. He wants your desires to be stripped away and be left with his desires. And you can only do that through communication. It's the only way it works. So when you pray and you get a yes, it really helps you to understand, like, wow, I actually asked for something God wanted. That's important to know that, to recognize that, to learn that. And then likewise, when you ask for something and God says, that's important. That's really important for you to learn from that and go like, oh, I was never meant to like want that in the first place. That's important to learn that. So the prayer is important, but it's not important so that you can tell God what you want. Like, that's not what is going on there.
It's like, my grandma's gonna die, and God goes, yeah, they do that.
I don't think you would ever say it like
She's
that.
like, sorry, not sorry.
So the truth is, in God's perspective, you guys gotta understand, when he calls someone to heaven, he's not killing them like we're thinking about it. He's moving them closer to him. So like when someone dies, in his mind, like that's the best thing that could happen in their life. Isn't that weird? It's so weird for us to think about, because from our perspective, we're trapped inside of this life. At this moment, that's all we can see. When someone dies, it's like they're permanently gone. But that's not at all what's happening. It's not even close to what's happening. And so from God's perspective, that's like you're praying and you're saying to him, hey God, never ever ever say hi to my grandma. I don't ever want you to be close to her.
Mine.
I don't ever 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 want her to be with you.
Mine, not yours.
It's my grandma. Like that, like from his perspective, that's what's going on. So the prayer that we usually pray is a bit selfish, and like he gets that. He made us. He knows how we feel. He knows what we're seeing it from perspective-wise. But yeah, the prayer doesn't always land the way we think it does. Okay, anyways, so the blessing is going to be a big deal. The inheritance is going to be a big deal. However, it doesn't seem like Isaac knows this, but last week when we were studying chapter 26, Esau traded out his birthright, which includes his inheritance. He traded his birthright with Jacob. And that's ridiculous.
That's scary.
For a bowl of soup, no less. It's because Esau doesn't like his family. Esau's not a family guy. He does not like his family. He thinks his family's dumb.
No.
He thinks his family's dumb. He thinks his family's God is dumb. He's just at this point in his life, well, we'll see, he'll change as he grows, but at this point in his life, he's just selfish. And he thinks the whole be together, do things together thing is stupid. So when it came time to get married, he didn't talk to his parents. He actually went out of his way to do the exact opposite of what he knew his parents wanted. He knew what his parents wanted. He did the exact opposite, and then he did it twice. He got married to 2 women, both of which he knew his parents wouldn't agree with.
What if it's the same woman twice?
Law and Order.
Mm-hmm.
Baby Blue.
You've been here before.
I wasn't here last week.
But you remember.
I remember.
Well,
Hard to
they
forget.
might not have actually worshipped Baal. We dug a little deeper into who the Hittites were,
Kid.
but they did worship some other outside gods. They were kind of foreigners in this land too. Their real homeland, the Hittites, was up in like modern day Turkey. It was near Israel, but it's not like touching Israel. So, anyways, we dug a little deeper last week, and you can go look it up on YouTube if you want. This week though, fourth would be Rowan. You've got verse 13. Oh wait, no, sorry. You got 11 and 12.
Okay. But look, Jacob replied to Rebekah, my brother Esau is a hairy man, and my skin is smooth. What if father touches me? He'll see that I'm trying to trick him, and then he'll curse me instead of blessing me.
It's an interesting factoid you never really thought would like be a problem in your life. You grow up and you don't have hair on your arms, and you're like, dang it, one day I won't be able to trick my dad.
Whoops.
That's not really what you would think about, honestly.
Oh, shucks.
I can never pass as my brother. Well, anyways, his hairlessness is a problem. It's one weird scenario that his mom has cooked up. But it kind of makes sense. Like, if you've ever been hunting, you know, there's days you go out and, like, an animal walks through your sights almost immediately. But that's not most days. Most days you wait a very long time. And sometimes it's a hunting trip, and it takes till the 2nd or 3rd day before something walks through your sights. And so when Esau's sent off to go hunt something and come back and barbecue it, mom knows, ooh, we've got time. We can sneak in here real easy. There is plenty of time. If nothing else, the travel there and back again will take time. Even if he gets something as soon as he gets to the hunting ground, like, it's going to take travel time. So they've got it made. So Jacob, though, is a smart guy, and he immediately spots the flaw. Like, I can do a whole lot of things to disguise myself. I'll talk in my gruff voice, you know. I'll use words like Esau uses. I'll just say not that much, so then it's harder to tell. And there's still going to be problems. I'm not hairy. So what does mom say? 13.
But his mother replied, then let the curse fall on me, my son. Just do what I tell you. Go out and get the goats for me.
She's not worried. Elise, you've got the next paragraph.
Animal skin.
So Jacob went out and got the young goats for his mother. Rebekah took them and prepared a delicious meal just the way Isaac liked it. Then she took Esau's favorite clothes, which were there in the house, and gave them to her younger son Jacob. She covered his arms and the smooth part of his neck with the skin of the young goats. Then she gave Jacob the delicious meal, including freshly baked bread.
I've always wondered how she did it. Did she tie it on?
Yeah, I wondered that too.
Did she have like a
Super
rudimentary,
glue.
Some sort of adhesive.
some sort of adhesive, like a
She
like
had
a
glue.
glue stick? Like, how do you get the goat skins to stay on? Did she sew him sleeves?
Also, that is very hairy.
Yeah, that's seriously hairy. If you can match a goat, you've got some arm hair. I've seen some hairy guys in my day. Some of your dads might be pretty hairy, but like,
My dad.
imagine a goat,
My dad's beard.
and then imagine your dad's arm, and be like, yeah, there's no way. Now on the neck, I can sympathize. My head hair, for some reason, thinks that it is smart to find its way down into my shirt. My natural scalp line goes below my collar. I don't know why this is, and it's worse on one side than the other. I'm lopsided. Like, my right side goes down lower than my left side. I don't get it. But if I don't get a haircut, if I let my hair grow, eventually I have a mane. It just goes clear down my neck all the way into my shirt. And like, it doesn't make any sense to me because I don't have an epic amount of back hair. I'm not like some sort of stallion with a mane that goes all the way down the spine or something. But my neck just wants to have hair like my head does. So I get that. I get that. Not everyone is that way.
Your neck is
But
jealous.
apparently Esau was that way. So, like, I don't know if you guys have ever seen people really get into prayer, but like, if you're really emotional about prayer, you tend to like put your hands on the other person you're praying for. And frequently when there's a group of people praying for someone, I've seen even to this day, it's not some ancient thing. Someone will have their hand on their shoulder, on their back, on their neck. They want to put their hand on them. They want to connect with them while they're praying for them. They feel very strongly in that moment for the person they're praying for. And when you feel very strongly for someone, there is a need to physically connect with them. It's very hard to watch someone go you care about and be crying for them and like be sad about them leaving and not want to hug them. It's really hard. Just like one finger contact. I'm gonna miss you, man. I'm gonna miss you. That doesn't cover it. Like, this doesn't equate the how much I will miss you. Like, you need to hug them. A certain amount of hanging on the person is required when you feel that strongly for them. So it's not unusual to me
What about this?
that Dad might come in contact with Esau. I think it makes sense. This is like the I'm gonna die now prayer. It's a big, meaningful, strong prayer. He's not gonna make it something light and small.
Rest in peace, Marie.
Somewhat.
Rest in peace.
Wait,
Yeah. Okay, so they're prepped. They're ready. It's go time. You've got verse 18.
So Jacob took the food to his father. My father, he asked. Yes, my son, Isaac answered. Who are you?
I don't know how to pronounce that.
Esau.
Esau or Jacob?
Now, that's interesting. The second this starts, the second he's in the tent and talks to Dad, Dad's immediately like,
Who is you?
who are you?
It's like soulmate right here.
Bad eyes, who dis? Yeah, so Isaac is mostly blind. And so that's why he says, who are you? He doesn't get to judge on all of his senses. And then I'll take 19. I don't know if 20's attached. It's on
Just
the new
say
line.
I am hairy. You just can't see it.
Yeah. What?
Your fingertips are numb.
Jacob replied, it's Esau, your firstborn son. I've done as you told me. Here is the wild game. Now sit up and eat so you can give me your blessing. 20, Seth?
20. Isaac asked, how did you find it so quickly, my son? The Lord your God put it in my path, Jacob replied.
Interesting line from a guy who doesn't respect God. Esau doesn't like God. So it'd be strange for him to be like, yeah, hunting was good today. I'll give God the credit. He's a prideful hunter guy. So like, if hunting was good today, he would take credit for it. Anyways,
Isaac's just like,
Then Isaac said to Jacob, come closer so I can touch you and make sure that you are really Esau.
he's just like, who are you? So
I don't trust you.
So
Are you Sasquatch?
so
So Jacob went closer to his father, and Isaac touched him. The voice is Jacob's, but the hands are Esau's, Isaac said. But he did not recognize Jacob, because Jacob's hands felt hairy just like Esau's. So Isaac prepared to bless Jacob. But are you really my son Esau? He asked.
This is the saddest thing in the world. Oh, you have one more line.
Yes,
Go for
I
it.
am, Jacob replied.
When you trick an old person, like, you've entered a new low. For some reason in my mind, tricking a small child isn't as bad.
It's kinda
Like, when you
funny.
trick
Yeah,
a small
like
child,
me.
it's kind of funny.
Yeah.
It is.
Because they're going to learn the right thing. And, like, the fact that you trick them is going to stick with them forever, and they'll never get tricked like that again. You've taught them something when you've tricked them. It's almost good as long as you're willing to follow through and, like, teach them the right thing afterwards. But when you trick an old person,
It's disrespectful.
it's disrespectful.
It's not just
They already know better, right? They've already learned better.
They're just like,
But
I'm too old for this.
They're too old to catch on. Either they're blind because they're old and they can't tell because they're blind, or they're going through dementia and, like, their brain is shutting down and it doesn't work right anymore. Like, this isn't a child who needs to learn. This is an old person you need to take care of. They've already known and done everything you know and are doing, and they're the ones who taught you. And now for you to trick them, like, I just want to kick you in the teeth when you do that. Like, it makes me so hateful and I have to fight it. When you trick an old person, you are not just being disrespectful. You're being, like, hateful in your actions. And while you're doing it, you're smiling. You're pretending to be nice while you're being hateful. It's so cruel. Yeah.
Unrelated story, but when my grandma was really sick and like dying, I got her this giant candy cane like this big. It was like a plastic one, and she used to hit my mom with it whenever she wanted something. And my mom had to take it away like 4 times, but she kept finding it.
Oh, that's great. I want a beating stick when I'm
What
old.
if a little
That'd be
wait, I'll
fantastic.
give you a
It's like
ringu.
Yoda.
Yeah, she was just
Yoda gets old, he gets a
and my
beating
mom was like,
stick.
stop it.
Daniel, I'll give you a ringu.
What's a ringu?
Michelle's never shown you hers?
Maybe, but I don't remember the name. What is it?
It's an African club.
I don't think I've seen hers.
It's like a
Did she get it when she was there?
yeah.
Okay.
It's about a stick of mahogany about that long, rounded, and then it's got this big knot at the end with a little tiny pin.
Oh,
like
yeah,
a
yeah.
pin, yeah, the tip.
I do know what you're talking about now.
Yeah. And then so
She has one?
yeah,
She's
I think so. I think she's
Don't let Weston have one. I
That's my
promise.
I have
sister,
one.
man. She should show me.
Don't let any.
yeah, so the little knot, the little
Yeah.
tiny pin at the tip, first hit you just lightly crack the skull, and then you hit in the exact same spot, and that entire knot goes into your brain, kills you instantly.
So they used to have, well, it's a defensive weapon. When you're fighting
It's-
off a creature who can eat you, you don't want to have to hit more than twice.
Actually,
Why
the
Why
shorter
isn't it
ones
dying?
about that a handle that long were used as weapons by the Maasai warriors. But then they have ones where the handles are like 10 feet long, and the shepherds use them.
Yeah.
And they
So,
10 feet away.
hold
they
them by
have
the
those in the
end, and
Bible.
they flip them around like this.
They
hit
had those in the
line.
Bible. They actually called them goad.
Yeah.
It was a goad. And there's a famous verse is like, it's difficult to kick against the goads. And they would use it as a shepherd both ways. They would use it for defending against wild animals, but they would also use it on the sheep. But it was different. You would stick it where you didn't want the sheep to go.
Yeah.
So you don't want the sheep to go left, you hold your goat out on the left. Sheep learns eventually to go right.
And don't get hard
Because otherwise it runs into the spike. And it feels that there's a spike on the left. And it starts to associate running into a spike with the sight of the goad. So then you can just stand somewhere and stick your goat out, and the sheep all turn. And they just go away from the goat. And so
It's like 10 feet away, like
it's Saul. It's Saul when he turns into Paul. In the New Testament, Jesus appears to him on the road, and he says to Saul, Saul, isn't it difficult to kick against the goads? Because Saul was trying to defeat Christianity. He wanted to
Oh.
beat Christianity, to win and destroy Christianity.
Every time I hear that verse, I think it says goat.
No, it's goad.
Yeah.
Think of the Maasai
I'm like,
warriors.
why would you
And
kick
God
a goat?
holding the Maasai warrior's weapon, and then Saul throwing a kick at God, and God just carefully places the spike in the air, right where Saul's foot is coming. Yeah. Okay, keep going, Saul. Go ahead, try again. Defeat Christianity. Go for it. Go for it. Uh-huh. Yep, boop. There you go.
Just like
Oh, I
How's
thought-
that, Saul? Is that
I
working
thought
out
it
for
was
you?
like baseball bat it.
Go watch.
How's that working, Saul? So that's what Jesus meant when he
What?
said that to Saul.
What if a little
Come at
child
me.
tricks an old person?
Oh God.
It's like well, if they're so
Okay.
young, they don't
We
really.
have to start.
Let's not go there. Anyways, so I really hate this moment. It's so sad to just watch Isaac constantly question and Jacob just be like, no. I am Esau. I am.
That's
Trust me. Okay, who had 24?
I don't
Is it
even.
Weston or?
Where?
Weston's
Did
was
you have
good.
24?
I just read.
Yeah,
Weston
okay.
had 24.
So 25 and 26.
Then Isaac said, "Now bring my son,
Wait, no.
or now my son, bring me the wild game. Let me eat it, and then I will give you my blessing." So Jacob took the food to his father, and Isaac ate it. He also drank the wine that Jacob served him. Then Isaac said to Jacob, "Please come a little closer and kiss me, my son."
It was a common greeting back then. It wasn't restricted for romantic circumstances. It wasn't restricted for certain genders. A kiss really was, like we would do now, a hug. Where a hug is strange if you don't know a person well. A hug feels odd when you hug a stranger. Have you ever noticed that? Like you're
No, I'm
pressed
more
up
on
chest to
the
chest with someone you're not actually close with.
I don't hug strangers.
It's very weird to hug a stranger. Back then, that was like a kiss. It's slowly been demoted. Like the amount of physical contact that was okay
And next
for
is gonna be
greetings
like,
has slowly trickled downward till now a greeting is like a handshake, a high five, or nothing.
just a wave.
It's
Or
literally just a
Don't
wave.
touch me.
We've literally moved that far backwards. Back then, a greeting with someone you're meeting for the first time could actually include a kiss. It wasn't strange for them. But it wasn't a kiss like on the lips. It wasn't the romantic style of kiss. It was a kiss on the cheek. Now, it might not have been here because this is father and son. They were close. So I don't know what kind of kiss this was. This certainly would be a context where possibly a kiss on the lips would actually occur. It still wouldn't be a romantic thing. A kiss really was just a I am close to you gesture. So it wasn't only for romantic I am close to you. It would be for all types of I am close to you. So they kissed.
okay.
I know, just
Alright.
changing things through time.
The
Great.
future.
It's only been a few thousand years, so things do change.
In the future, you're just gonna like look at them, and that's
Yeah.
the greatest.
Yeah.
Just-
I raised my eyes from my screen at you.
Turns off phone. Oh
Did
my
you see
God,
the way
we're
he
so
raised his eyes at me?
Turned off his phone.
Turn off your phone to look at them. Oh my God, we're so close.
Yeah.
He looked away.
I'm gonna turn my phone all the way off. I'm powering it down.
I'm putting it away.
He'll start gossip at school. We went on a date and he left his phone at home.
Oh my God.
That doesn't happen.
You're lying. He didn't.
Oh my gosh.
There's no way.
He looked up and he dropped his phone.
Okay, so where are we? Jacob kissed me, eat the food. Oh yeah, I always thought this was dumb when I was a kid. This dad Isaac, he
Nailed
eats sheep. He eats lamb.
You think you know the difference?
You think you know the difference between this and venison, right? Who here's eaten deer? Could you tell it was deer?
Yes.
No.
Okay,
It's
depends on
kinda
what it's in. I've had deer nachos and you can barely tell that it's deer.
What?
But like you just eat deer like a steak of deer, you know what I mean? That's like a cut of deer.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
a difference between it and
It's
beef.
deer.
Definitely.
There is nothing else on the planet that could be more deery than that.
Deary.
But like you eat lamb and again, you grind it up, you stick it in something. It's not
Like a
that
steak.
much different.
Well,
Like a lamb burger, it's mostly
Yeah.
just burger. It's not very
yeah,
lamb. But you eat a slice of like lamb chop. That's
Yeah.
lamb.
it also says that Rebecca prepared it just the way that he liked it, which means that
Yes.
he's had this many times before.
She knows how to
He's
make it.
just dumb.
Well, but it also means that it seems like he should be able to tell if it's different.
Yeah.
than
He's,
normal.
So,
he's just.
This is what I will tell you. Old people. No, let me rephrase that because it's actually not true. The older you get, the less taste your
Yeah.
tongue has.
That's true.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, he's just dumb.
This is actually why
no.
there are so many foods that kids don't like that adults do like. I kid you not, we stop tasting the parts we don't like.
Oh my.
So this is where it gets really weird. All that stuff you hear in class, about there being like 5 tastes on your tongue, and there's like zones, and we made that up. It's totally nonsense. There's no zones on your tongue. They don't exist. But the 5 tastes also don't exist as a kid. As a kid, you have so many more than 5 tastes, so, like an innumerable number of tastes. But as a really old person, you have less than 5 tastes.
I have like one.
You have literally, I
Like,
kid you
it's
not, you have
sweet
salty,
or it's
sweet, and fatty. You lose savory. You don't even know what savory is.
I better not
The
lose
fattier
it.
the
I'll
meat is, the
cry.
better it is.
Boy,
Because
sour.
that's all you're
You
tasting.
don't know what's
Meat
sour.
is just like
Sweet, I will
chewy.
cry.
That's what meat tastes
It's
like.
like,
It tastes like chewy.
This lemon is really good. I can't taste sour.
You could
So,
do some stuff
I
to
kid you not. They give him meat, and he's probably like, oh, yeah, this brings back the memories. When you're eating food as an old person, you're mostly tasting memories. You're not tasting the food that is in your mouth. So if someone tells you it's the food you remember,
Some good memories.
Give
it
him a piece of
is the food you remember. It tastes identical to the food you remember because that's what you're tasting.
Oh,
You are
yes,
tasting what you remember you've tasted. You are not tasting the food that is in your mouth.
What if you never tasted it before?
Then you will still taste the thing that you thought you've tasted.
It's a lot of damage.
Or, consequently, if they tell you it's something you've never had, like this is something brand new, you've never tried it, you'll probably say it's terrible because it has no flavor. And you'll immediately say, it needs salt.
Give me the entire.
Have you ever seen an older person say that phrase? This needs salt?
when you've already salted
That's
it.
because it
Would you
doesn't
like
bring
it in
back any
tiny
memories
pieces?
for them. It's not like mom used to make it. It's not what I've grown up with. It's not what I'm used to. It's not how I cook it. Therefore, there's no flavor on this plate.
Oh.
There's
You don't
nothing
cook anymore.
needs salt.
Would you like an entire thing?
So,
Just drink
It makes
salt.
sense now. Isaac's crazy old. He's so old he can't even see.
Just drinks the salt.
So, if you tell him it's the food he likes,
Oh, yes,
it
that would be
is.
good.
It is the food he likes. It tastes exactly the same as the food he likes. Yep, this is that deer that my son catches and cooks. Oh
yes.
man, reminds me of those
You give
campfire
him a
nights out in the
lemon.
wilderness with him.
You
I
would.
love it.
You give him a lemon and say it's a peach.
There might be a texture difference there, just maybe. Maybe orange. You could probably go for
Yeah,
orange.
it's an orange.
Cooks piece of salmon, gives it to Isaac. Oh, this is some good beef.
Yep.
So good.
Again, you can still feel texture.
Oh, yes,
Yes,
finally a
but-
good hacking.
Okay.
Maybe.
Rowan, are you next?
Yeah.
Okay.
22nd.
No, we did that, right?
No, you didn't. We're on my second.
Oh, it says he kissed him in both sections. It threw me off. Yeah. 27.
So Jacob went over and kissed him, and when Isaac caught the smell of his clothes, he was finally convinced and blessed his son. He said, the smell of my son is like the smell of the outdoors, which the Lord has blessed.
Say ah. Ah. It was that
yes.
like dawning moment of realization.
Screams.
Ah.
Screams.
Oh, it is Esau. Well, I thought you were Jacob this whole time.
He's like, He's like, yes, my son.
Okay. 28, 29. Here's the blessing.
is true.
From the dew of heaven and the richness of the earth, may God always give you abundant harvests of grain and bountiful new wine. May many nations become your servants, and may they bow down to you. May you be the master over your brothers, and may your mother's son bow down to you. All who curse you will be cursed, and all who bless you will be blessed.
Last line is a very important line for Jacob.
And all who bless you be blessed.
And all who curse you be cursed.
So pretty much he's cursing Esau.
Oh no.
That's a big problem.
Just my dude.
Esau is not going to be happy when he gets home.
Aha.
You see, when he made the trade for the birthright last week, he did it willingly. He did it knowingly. It was a dumb thing to do, but he knew it was his fault when he did it. So even if he got mad about it later, it would be his own fault. However, when Jacob sneaks in and takes the blessing, that's not Esau's fault. He's going to blame Jacob.
He's like, snatched mine now.
So he is going to curse Jacob. Yeah.
He entitled it in Esau's name.
Did he?
Yes.
Where does it say Esau?
Well, because he says it's all my son of Esau.
What?
It doesn't say Esau.
It just says my son,
Ah, yes, my child.
which Jacob is.
Child of mine? Okay.
It's a pretty big moment here when you've suspected the guy in the room of being Jacob the whole time, and then you don't name the blessing.
It would be so funny.
That's a huge moment, and I think honestly God may have had a hand in this. You see, before Jacob and Esau were born, God already prophesied. He already prophesied the younger is not going to serve the older like it's meant to be in all these different families. The older is going to serve the younger. God already foretold that. And so God is seeing all these events in advance, and he's approving of them. Not necessarily in the way of like, I like this is good, this is fine. Like, this is what's going to happen, I'm not going to stop this.
It's a good enough.
And it's largely to do with the fact that Esau does not respect God and Jacob does.
Ooh.
Jacob's
Take
not a
that,
perfect
Esau.
man. Jacob's not even a good man most of the time. But he does respect God. And therefore God is going to bless him. And then in turn, Jacob gets all these things that were meant to be Esau's, at least meant to be in their parents' eyes. It seems like God already had plans to make it Jacob's. Yeah.
He just like rips off his disguise. And he's like, "It is I, Jacob, you old fool." And then he's just like, "Oh no, dang it."
And then he
Falls
dies
right.
right there.
And then he's like, "Haha!" And then mom pops out and he's like, "You're an idiot." And then
How
he's like,
you
"No."
thought.
And he's like, he's like, "What the heck just happened?"
So cold. So cold.
And then he
I can see it
dies.
happening.
He dies from shock.
It's like, no.
What have we done? Okay.
Big stupid.
You thought.
Do I have
So
30?
that doesn't happen.
Aw.
Instead,
It's so much better.
30 and 31 happens. Yes, Elise, at the
Me.
end.
As soon as Isaac had finished blessing Jacob, and almost before Jacob had left his father, Esau returned from his hunt. Esau prepared a delicious meal and brought it to his father. Then he said, "Sit up, my father, and eat my wild game, so you can give me your blessing."
So the timing is this. Jacob is in the tent. He is receiving the blessing. He hasn't left the tent. Esau comes home. Esau starts prepping the meal. Jacob is still in the tent when Esau is prepping the meal.
Is he partially deaf?
I
That helps.
just don't think that they're that close to each other physically.
Okay.
I don't know if prepping the meal is taking place
He's
right
like,
next to
right
it.
there.
Right next door to the tent.
Okay.
It's just like he's on the family compound now.
Okay.
However big that may be, I don't know.
Well, I mean, they are totally rich,
character.
so
It could be a pretty big place.
It's like.
Honestly, if I'm gonna
piece of
strip an
veggie.
animal and like bleed it out and do all that nasty stuff, I don't want to do it right outside my front door. I want to go like a little
It's
bit
like,
away. And at this point, Esau has a tent, Jacob has a tent, Isaac has a tent. As far as we know culturally, Rebecca would even have a tent.
Esau
So
wants
like they don't all live in the same
it.
tent.
Just like,
His,
Anyways.
his brother's probably like, why are you wearing goat skin?
God,
Brother,
what?
brother,
I was
stealing
cold.
Blessings? No.
Just go stay.
It's like, Jacob, did you steal my blessing? No. What gives you that idea? Runs in the tent. And then
Okay.
Isaac's just like,
You've got 32,
I just told you. But wait.
but Isaac asked.
But Isaac asked, "Who are you?" Esau replied, "It is your son, your firstborn son, Esau." Isaac's just like, "Wait."
Isaac began to tremble uncontrollably. He didn't die though. And said, "Then who just served me wild game? I have already eaten it, and I blessed him just before you came. And yes, that blessing must stand."
And then Jacob's just ripped off his disguise. "It is I."
He answers the question before it's asked. The blessing must stand.
Jacob's just like, "Ha, you fools."
Isaac, I think, wished he could take the blessing back. I know he knows, because that's why he said this. He knows Esau is going to ask that question. Can't you just unbless him?
That's not how it works.
I finished the blessing with if anyone curses him, they'll be cursed. So if I try and curse him, it's not going to work well. So no, I can't undo the blessing. And then 34?
When Esau heard his father's words, he let out a loud and bitter cry. "Oh, my father, what about me? Bless me too," he begged. Do I read on?
No, my son gets 35.
But Isaac said, "Your brother was here, and he tricked me. He has taken away your blessing." Should I keep reading?
No, that's fine.
I was gonna Matt read.
Esau exclaimed, "No wonder his name is Jacob, for now he has cheated me twice. First he took my rights as the firstborn, and now he has stolen my blessing. Oh, haven't you saved even one blessing for me?"
He cheated me twice.
That's not
That's
how
an
it works.
interesting phrase.
You give
When he
them-
comes home and says, I'll give you anything for that bowl of soup, and Jacob names the price, he didn't cheat him.
He made a bet.
He
He
cheated.
made a deal.
Made a bargain. And Esau agreed
Esau
to the
kind of
bargain.
cheated
He
himself.
He wasn't like, write your price on this paper. I will eat the soup and then read your price. He didn't do that. He knew what the price was. Yeah, Sean.
Was Esau starving when he had the bowl of soup?
He claimed to be starving, yes.
So
Jacob's just like, I got a nice bowl of soup here.
when you just
Just oh, I've been keeping this bowl of soup.
You're just like, you're accepting. They're different people. They're very different
What if
people.
Esau?
they're just-
What if Esau gives his birthright, takes the bowl of soup, and the bowl of soup is cold?
Can I get that in the chat?
Y'all like, I don't want this soup. It's cold.
It's too late.
What if he's
Then
be
he's
like,
starving.
oh,
It's clearly not starving.
I have something just for this. I have a
Esau's
bowl of
just-
soup hidden somewhere for the occasion just like this.
Esau
It's
has
moldy
these,
soup.
It's called stupid.
He frames.
I
the
knew
soup.
this would happen, which is
It's an empty bowl.
When you do something dumb for soup, it's called stupid.
God. Stupid.
He's
Okay.
very busy. It's called
So
stupid.
he says he cheated me twice. Now the reason he says that his name is Jacob and that's important is because Jacob, the word, is a portmanteau. Portmanteau is when you take two partial words and stick them together to make up a new word. So they made up the word Jacob to name Jacob Jacob. As far as we know, he's the original Jacob.
The OG.
He is. Jacob was a portmanteau of heal and grab, trip, or cheat. It's literally that action when someone's walking by and you stick your foot in front of their ankle. That's the word they took. So they took that word
child
and heal
Jacob?
because he was born grabbing Esau's heel. So like I kid you not, like Esau leaves his mom, comes out of his mom, and there is a hand on his heel as he comes out. It is grabbing his heel. Now, when twins are born, right? One
Wait.
twin's born first, another twin's born second, and the twin that's born first in their culture gets huge perks. So Jacob was born, Esau was born, and Jacob is basically trying to come out first.
No.
He's like grabbing onto Jacob. No, I want to be first.
Wait, have you seen the Force?
As they're being born.
Oh my gosh, I just
So
had
they named him that. They named him heel catcher.
Wait.
That's Jacob. It's those two words like stuck together.
So
Yeah.
if you trips one, you're legally allowed to say "get Jacob."
Well,
Can you?
I don't know about legally allowed.
Are you allowed to
I
say
feel like
"get
that
Jacob"?
goes too far.
Just
I
got
think
Jacob,
in any
you're
circumstance
legally
you're
Jacob.
allowed to say anything. You're allowed to say that.
Just got Jacob.
And in any circumstance
This
where
is
you're not allowed to
America.
say that, it's because you're not allowed to say anything.
Get Jacob.
This is America.
We just got Jacob.
in the Daniel. What? I just had.
Okay.
Okay.
I just had a big. Cool.
Who read last? Sean? Rowan, you got 30. No, wait, we did that. 37.
Okay. Isaac said to Esau, I have married Jacob your master, and have declared that all his brothers will be his servants. I have guaranteed him an abundance of grain and wine. What is left for me to give you, my son?
That's it's a pretty sad moment when your parents say to you, "Oh, you wanted anything? I'm sorry, I already gave away everything."
What you say?
Slapped.
It's a verbal slap.
Can I have a sandwich?
No.
I gave away.
I gave away the green sandwich. I'm sorry, buddy.
Can I have a whooping? Hey, he didn't take his
Can I have
clothes.
that piece of
The
dirt
clothes
right
are
there?
rightfully his.
Well, he was wearing his favorite set of clothes during the whole exchange.
Your clothes are mine now.
Wait, if he's a
That could
servant.
get awkward.
All right, so then we get to 38. Hunter.
Esau pleaded, but do you have only one blessing? Oh, my father, bless me too. Then Esau broke down and wept.
At least you got 39 and 40.
Finally, his father Isaac said to him, "You will live away from the richness of the earth, and away from the dew of the heaven above. You will live by the sword, and you will serve your brother. But when you decide to break free, you will shake his yoke from your neck.
So you will kill.
Okay. So in the original blessing, if you go back, it says, many nations become your servants, and may they bow down to you, and may you be the master over your brothers. Does it give a timeline for how long he will be the master over his brothers?
No.
But it does say he will be master over his brothers. And so, Isaac, as old as he is, even though he thinks he's about to die, he's not dumb. His senses are dulled, right? He can't see well, he can't hear well. Everything sense-wise is dulled, but he's still smart. And so he realizes the loophole in his own blessing. And he says, you will be your brother's servant, but you will break free. That's the loophole. There wasn't a time limit. You will serve him, but then you will not.
Jacob could be like, kill yourself. And then he
Oh,
can't, and he can't
no.
break free because
No,
he'll
I
have to
don't
listen
think
to his
that's the
brother
kind of
and he'll be dead.
master-servant relationship
I-
we're talking about here.
But
You're thinking in infinite terms. These are realistic terms. This is not an infinite slavery.
These are like, go get me a soup and you have to obey.
It's not robo-slave. No.
I'm trying to find the way around.
You can't find a way around it.
If you give me a
Maybe
bowl of
soup.
slave.
How to give him credit for try? I don't know about that. Okay, we got to wrap this up. You've got 41.
From that time on, Esau haunted Jacob because
Hated.
hated Jacob because their father had given Jacob the blessing. And Esau began to scheme, I will soon be mourning my father's death. Then I will kill my brother Jacob. Hey, bud.
So he's going to wait for his dad to die, and then he's going to kill his brother.
That's locked in.
All right, so his plan. I will become a murderer soon. Is that a good plan?
Yes.
Not really. But it's interesting how the plan works out. Because God knows your thoughts.
How could it go wrong?
And God wants to protect Jacob. And God doesn't necessarily go out of his way to like put up invisible force fields around Jacob. But God wants to protect him, so what does he do? God hears the thoughts of Esau. I'm going to wait till dad dies, then I'll kill my brother. What does God have to do to protect Jacob?
Make his dad live long.
That's it. That's all God has to do is make Isaac live longer.
You thought.
So that's what he does. Isaac lives way longer than everyone expected.
Isaac's just like, I
And
will
so
never die.
Esau just twiddles his fingers and waits.
Just like, what now?
Waits for dad to die.
He's all
And
like,
he doesn't kill Jacob.
I could totally see Esau like in the corner of his tent, just
Just like, this is not helping.
Someday.
It's like, what now?
I'll kill him with this thumb.
his thumb would go on him.
Alright, 42 is mine. So Rebecca heard about Esau's plans. So apparently these were not just all in his head. He talked about it sometimes.
Why would you
Just
do
walking
that?
around the camp,
I'm
talking to
gonna
the
kill
servants.
you.
You know, someday I'll kill Jacob.
And we're like, okay.
Apparently, somewhere he's
Okay.
talking about this. Maybe he's got buds. You know, he's talking to his buds. You know, maybe he'll get some of them to help. I don't know. But Rebecca hears about him. So she sent for Jacob and told him, listen, Esau is consoling himself by plotting to kill you. So listen carefully, my son. She said that twice now. Get ready and flee to my brother Laban in Haran. Stay there with him until your brother cools off. When he calms down and forgets what you have done to him, I'm not sure if that'll ever happen. Anyways, I will send for you to come back. Why should I lose both of you in one day? Then Rebekah said to Isaac, I'm sick and tired of these local Hittite women. I would rather die than see Jacob marry one of them.
I mean, good for
So-
her.
Esau married 2 Hittite women, both against his parents' will. It's said at the end of last chapter, the final verse, and I quote, but Esau's wives made life miserable for Isaac and Rebekah. It's final verse last week, final verse this week. I am sick and tired of these local Hittite women. I would rather die than see Jacob marry one of them.
She did not
It's
appreciate
just escalating. It's getting worse.
Don't
First life was miserable, and now she would rather die. That's That's pretty bad.
You have to be a pretty bad wife.
You'd have to be a pretty bad wife to get your in-laws to want to die. That's pretty bad. Okay, so moving on, let's sum this up. Jacob is now going to have to leave a home, leave family, and originally he was the one who liked family. He was the one who valued family. But he now has to leave. And why? Because he forsook family.
Giving them rights.
He cheated family. Now the first one, I don't know if it was cheating or not. I'm not going to judge. I wasn't there. The second one was very clearly cheating. There is no question that if you trick an old blind man by lying to him, wearing the opposite clothes from what you would, dressing up with fake hair, bringing him food specifically designed to trick him, you are cheating. That's absolutely what you're doing. There's no question. So he cheats family and now he loses his family. That's a fair consequence. And so it really is like a cautionary tale right on the face of it. If you devalue family, it will have a consequence. It will put distance between you and your family. However, Jacob really didn't want to do this that much. He was mostly talked into it by his mom. And I think God really takes that into account in the consequences that Jacob is going to suffer. Because the consequences are not going to be permanently bad. They're going to be the sort where it really is to teach you something. He's going to have distance between him and his family that he won't enjoy, and that will teach him. But it is not going to wreck his life. It's not going to ruin his life. He's not going to be lost forever. God is going to continue to bless him. God already chose Jacob. Jacob has been respectful towards God, at least in a direct manner. And so God is going to continue to bless him. Now he's also carrying Isaac's blessing. And so that's going to continue to bear fruit down the road too. We're going to see that next week, just right off the bat. God is protecting Jacob hardcore. So when you respect God, you will make some mistakes. Jacob definitely does. But God still stays with you if you continue to respect him. And that's important. Because we don't want to walk into our mistakes going, this is fine, God will forgive this. I'll just do it and then he'll forgive me. That's not respect. You're not respecting God if you walk into a sin knowing God will forgive you and, oh well, that's not respect. It is respect when you make a mistake, you make a judgment, an error in judgment, and then you go to God and you say, I messed up. Can you forgive me? I shouldn't have done this. That is respect. And that's what God's looking for. He's not looking for perfection out of you. He's looking for you to confess your mistakes. He's looking for you to own up, to go to him and say, I was wrong. I shouldn't have done this. All right, let's pray. Lord, we thank you for your word. Thank you for what you're teaching us about your grace. Help us to walk in it, to know that we're forgiven when we're forgiven. To know that we're mistaken when we're mistaken, and to go to you and seek that forgiveness. Help us, Lord, to not walk knowingly into sin and do it just because we're going to get forgiven. Lord, we know that you hate that. Help us, Lord, to not get that prideful, to not get that selfish. Protect us, Lord, from that. We love you, Jesus. We pray all these things in your name. Amen.
Amen.
I love you guys. Grab a flyer for topic nights. Make sure you invite someone to come to topic nights that you know would like to know about those topics or needs to know about those topics. Also, make sure you sign up for topic nights so we know you're coming. We want to make sure we have enough food. So please, please, please RSVP for topic nights.
Stay, my boy.
My phone's gonna fall out for yep.
Wait.
You meet Jackson?
Winner.
Yes. Wait, what?
You were close.
They all fell
Very
out at
close.
once.
Yeah. It's like shuffling cards. You know which one hits last because the sounds they make.
Thank you, Daniel.
Yeah.
I like to fish out this morning.
Well, it's just kind of like
Daniel.
a little, I don't know. It's very faint, but.
Get over here. Stay.
Oh.
Oh no, I meant.
I finished off the roast from the
Yeah, you didn't really like it first time.
Don't go nuts and take it off, but yeah, it's great.
No, there's a bottle.
But only to the boys.
Greg, pick what you want. It's a comfy chair. Okay. If you look up the power cord, it's a massage chair.
Yeah.
Oh, wait.
Yep.
Yeah, we got new ones.
I think it's gonna disappear soon.
Goodbye, people.
I gotta pick up paper actually.
You're welcome. See you, Sean. Let's go to
Oh, yeah.
guys, if you want to
I think I started using it.
You didn't have breakfast today? I had McDonald's.
Oh, yes. I'll take those.
Thank you, please.
Muffins!
Thank you, please. Is that like I want to do something that makes me able to thank you? But please do that thing. Thank you, please. I don't know.
I just wanted a new thing.
We should steer off the top of the bag. Top of the bag actually makes me not want to eat them. Like, I don't know how, but it's managing the gross smell.
Just like people sticking their hands in the grease.
No, those are ratty to get torn and
Oh, okay.
open to be not great. It's well nice and
Oh no, oh no. This is terrible. Absolutely awful. Absolutely not. Do you have a question?
A hopeless dinner.
Wait, no.
You do write your
Beautiful. Hey, who put that in there?
I don't know who was there.
Is this supposed to be in here?
What?
In here, in this circle?
It was probably just next receipt for some reason game. You can figure that one out.
It is not in the matching spot.
So we're gonna make
My parents are actually gonna be coming up earlier.
what's that?
Cause their friends couldn't come today.
can't believe you guys went through service without them being color coordinated.
Well, what's funny is some of them were color coordinated, but some of them were not. Like half, about half and half, and I don't know why.
They use them as
What?
at the nursing home.
Okay.
They like line them up facing each other. And they like almost a full size bag.
That makes sense.
Wonderful. That's a great idea, actually.
It really was. I was impressed by it.
Yeah, we've never done that.
Oh, it already is. Daniel has the power to do that.
What?
Daniel has the power to.
Well, I know, but he
Oh yeah, I think that would be awesome.
I know what your guys' next question is.
How's that?
Does anyone
Why'd you drop the
else
Mandarin?
I know what your guys' next question should be. Does
You
anyone
didn't drop the Mandarin. I dropped half of the Mandarin.
Why'd you drop half the Mandarin?
Because I am uncoordinated.
you changed it?
Isn't it that? What?
Don't tell me you're gonna say what's your favorite color.
That's the first thing you ever called me.
What? I'm sorry.
No, that's the worst kind of bread.
Stay next to you.
Still kind of favorite bread. It's just bread. Finally.
Is muffin bread a
You're
bread?
actually able to do
Muffins?
this.
Yes, they count as bread. Are they not made of bread?
All the no stuff last night.
I don't know, but I'm pretty sure this one is connected. Yes.
Sometimes.
Wait, I didn't even tap that. That's so lucky.
Why do you love this smart?
Because that's what I does. Hi. How you doing?
Not the first time.
No!
Billy, no, go back.
There. Okay.
Yeah,
I use
there
bread.
you go.
That
Who
was
I
the
made. That's who I know how to use.
Isn't this weird that you know how I made her up here?
Oh, that sucks. What is
You
that?
always use Yoshi.
I don't like this game no more.
Oh! You just got so lucky. No!
Yeah, let's go.
Oh.
My voice is still dead, so nobody
Oh, I
can
said
scream.
on time.
Oh,
I don't know your
Oh, come on. No! Dang it!
It's not gonna work.
You should have went to F9. You should have went to F9 Friday. That's lame.
Go away, Yoshi.
But we stayed up all night. What are you talking about?
Oh, Nerf night?
Yeah. You missed it.
Oh, I didn't know it happened. Is that game over now?
Well, yeah.
I think, yeah.
Was it your turn?
I get it, you know how to do one move.
Game's over. Oh, yeah.
Oh, I thought
My finger just went numb. Should I go yeet it on you? I don't even be next to that ball. Huh, I'm just not even one. Oh wait, no. It's my shot. What are you doing? Trash.
Pick a better character.
No! Oh! Oh!
And yeah.
No! Yeah! No! Okay, my voice went down a lot because of that. Your fault.
No, stop moving it. Stop.
Come on. Whoa.
Make
Let's go
those.
airborne. Knives.
No handicap. Why would
Do
you
that. Eat that. Flexing on you now.
Okay.
Come on! Don't tap me! Don't! Just did. Jad!
Hi.
Oh! The timing! I can't shoot because I'm trash! Left hand.